Welcome back, fellow warriors. I'm the Martial Scholar, and this is To Black Belt and Beyond. If it's your first time viewing one of my videos and you like it, please hit that like button. If it's your first time on my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you could be notified when new videos are uploaded. Before we begin, I would like to shout out Breath and Flow for another excellent yoga sequence. I highly recommend you go check them out. The link will be down below. As always, they always come up with strong, powerful yoga sequences to help those who are very active or who engage in martial arts or just physical sports. So shout out to Breath and Flow. So fellow warriors, let's come into a nice seated position. Get nice and comfortable and start working on your breath. Breathe in through your nose, exhale through your nose. Look at all the places in your body and see where you need to be. Then what you can do, you can stretch your arms forward. And just relax into this position. Try and keep your hips low and really open up those sockets in your armpits and shoulder blades. Nice deep relaxing breaths. While you're here, have an intent for today's flow. Think about what you want to accomplish within it. If it's just to keep up or work on your breath or get better extension in your stretches, it's all up to you. It's your flow. So set your intention, have a focus, and breathe into it. As always, be relaxed, be calm. When you're ready, come up into tabletop position and then go into squatted. Get a nice squat. Try and sit on your ankles, straighten up, L sit, come into a nice L, take a few breaths, exhale, and go down. Move side to side so that you can stretch your lower back, stretch your hamstrings. Bend your knees and then come up vertebrae by vertebrae. Raise your hands above your head. Bring it to your heart. Take a few seconds. Focus on yourself, focus on your breath. Raise your hand up as you inhale and then bend down. Exhale. Go into a nice L and then cool into downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Try and really open up your armpits. You want a nice straight back from your arms all the way to your back, and then straighten your legs. Try and really open up your scapulars. Bend and then come down into tabletop. Start moving back and forwards on your wrist. Only go as far as you're comfortable with. Don't go further than you need to. Make sure your toes are flexed and they're not flat, because you're stretching your feet as you're doing this as well. Start rotating on your wrist, going one way. And it's good to do these exercises because, you know, if you're a boxer, fighter, we don't really do wrist exercises as much. And especially if you're doing handstands, planche, or any of these kind of maneuvers, you need very sturdy and mobile wrists. So come into table and then reverse your hands. Let your fingers be facing your knees. And go sit back as far as you're comfortable with. Everything has to go according to your body. Don't push yourself unnecessarily. Yoga is not about being in pain or feeling hurt. It's about release of pain and release of tension. So if you're feeling any pain or tension, take your time. Maybe don't go as deep and just, you know, work yourself. It's a progression thing. Try and keep your arms straight as you're in this. Shake your wrist out. I don't go fast, I like to go slow. So come into a nice tabletop position. And what you're going to do, you're going to I want you to push away on the ground. Lift your knees slightly off of the mat. You wouldn't even know that you could see me doing it, but hold that, keep that tension. Really focus on the elevation of your torso, your scapulars. Have a nice round back as you're pushing into your palms and pushing away from the ground. Keep holding it. Make sure you're breathing in and out. Now go into plank and hold. If you've been following the series, you know this guy likes to do a lot of strong techniques. Move forward and backwards in your plank. And this is really good for men in particular. Go back into downward facing dog. Bend your knees if you need to try and really open up those scapulars and armpits, sockets. Keep on breathing in and out. Make sure you're pushing, especially between, the energy is coming from your forefinger and thumb as well as your palm. Really push from those areas. Lift the right leg up. Keep it nice and straight. If you can, as you have that leg up in the air, take your left hand and grab your left calf. If you can only hold it for a few seconds, that's cool. Bring the right leg into your chest and touch your right elbow. Go into a plank. Bring the right knee into your left elbow, then go into a three-legged plank. Still hold that three-legged plank. Bring the right knee onto your right elbow. Keep it there for a few seconds. Hold it, and then place it on the outside of your right hand. go into a low lunge. Keep your left leg straight. While you're in this lunge, move your hips around. Look for the mobility in that position. If you want, you can place your elbows onto the ground if you can, but still keep that motion and that mobility moving in your hips. Bring your arms out a little bit. Lift your right hand up and then bring your left leg through. Keep your hips up off the floor. Keep your hands up and then sit back down. Keep your left leg up in the air. Straighten your right leg, and you're going to start doing sit-ups, mini sit-ups. So 1 and exhale, 2, 3, 4 and 5, then hold for a few seconds. Now if you can, come up. So what you're going to do, you're going to put that left leg and then go back into a low lunge. Keep your right leg nice and bent at a 45-degree angle. Reach your right arm behind you and grab your toe. If you want, you can go onto the blade of your right foot and twist. Get a nice twist. Be breathing in and out as you're doing this. Release. And then go into a low lunge. Lift your right leg up. Go into chaturanga. Go back up. Go into three-legged dog. Go on your left toes and then bring your right knee in between your hands. Keep your knee up. Show strength and then place your foot on the ground. Go into a tripod pyramid stand. Raise your torso up and then lower. Bring your feet as close as you need to. Make sure that your hips are parallel. Bring your right hip back. Make sure your right hip is being pulled back. If you want a deeper stretch, you can bend your chin into your chest to really open up your spine. Move towards the right side of your thigh. Breathe in and out. Keep your left hand on the ground and then raise your right hand up. Stretch. This is called a twisted pyramid. Try and keep that left heel on the floor. And then move forward. Keep that right hand up. Move forward. Now what you want to do, you want to have a nice straight line. Your left leg is up, your right leg is up. Keep that momentum or keep that strength. Step the left leg back, pivot, and go into the straddle. Take a breath, exhale, go back down. The aim is to try to get your hips, spine, and head in one line. Come back up and then bend your left knee and go into a low squat with your right leg straight. Come up and go into half moon pose. Your right hand is on the floor and your left hand reaches up. Keep that left leg straight. If you can, lift your right hand off the floor using the strength of your torso and your balance. It's not easy, but it's all about trying until you can do. Keep your balance. Bring your left foot over your right knee into pigeon pose and lower your stance. Lower your hips. Keep your balance. This is a difficult pose for me because I still have tight hips, so I'm still trying to get my hips as flexible as possible. If you can, twist. Place your left hand on the ground. Make sure your left foot is flexed on your right knee and twist. Lift your right hand up into the air. Lower your stance if you can. Release, come back up. Keep pigeon. Keep the left foot in the air as you raise it. This is warrior one. Keep that left foot up. Right now I was just trying to maintain balance and keep myself in a stable position as much as possible. Lower that left leg. Go back into the low lunge on the left leg. Keep the left leg close to your hip, and what you're going to do wild thing. So what I want you to do is place your right hand behind you and then lift your hips up. Use your left leg to push your hips up and stretch. Get that stretch, get that bend. Keep on pushing. Lower down. So come back up onto the lower squat. Come up and go into a low lunge and go into a side plank. Keep that left arm on the floor and the right arm straight up. Try to stack your shoulder blades on top of one another, and keep your hips up as well. Stretch that arm as much as possible. Reach up. Come into a plank. Hold the plank for a few seconds. Move forward a little bit. Anytime you feel you need to take a break, do so. There's nothing wrong with that. Move forward. Chaturanga, go down. Hold that level. Hover. Just hover above the ground and then push back up into plank. Go down. Go back into downward facing dog. Take a nice deep breath. This is a good recovery position, downward facing dog. So as much as possible, look at this position as, yes, I can recover, I can take a break, almost. You always try and maintain that push back. Always trying to push that energy from your palm up your spine into your hips. Now lift your left leg up. Every time you lift either legs, make sure your hips are parallel to one another. Anytime you feel to take a break, do so. Lift your left leg up. Keep it up. So if you can, get your right hand to touch your right calf while you're pushing into your left palm and keeping your left leg in the air. Hold it as long as you possibly can. Go onto your toes and then bring your left knee to your left arm. Go into three-legged plank. Bring your left knee into your right arm. Go into three-legged plank. Bring your left knee back to your left arm and then go into low lunge. Place your hands inside of your left leg and again start moving your hips around. Start finding motion, range in that position. Take nice deep breaths while you're in this position. If you can place your elbows on the ground, but keep that right leg straight as much as possible. Now, take your left hand and then use your right leg to sit through. Keep your hips up, lie back down, and then go straight into the sit-ups. Make sure your legs are both in the air and parallel. Then come up, step your right leg back, go into a low lunge and grab, using your left hand, grab your right foot. If you want, you could go onto the blade of your left foot while you're in this position. Take nice deep breaths. Release. Go into the low lunge. Place your hands on the floor. Then go into three-legged plank, chaturanga. Keep that left leg off the floor. Push back up. Back into chaturanga. Push back up. And then go into downward facing dog, three-legged. Bring the knee to your chest. And then go into a pyramid pose. Take a breath, lower down. Stop moving around while you're in this pyramid pose. Really find a stretch in all facets of your glutes, lower back, hamstrings, quads. Place your right hand onto the floor and lift your left hand up into the air. Nice deep breath. Try and stack your shoulders on top of one another. Then straighten your left hand and float your right leg up in the air. Use your right hand to stabilize you if you're finding it difficult to get a nice straight line, or you'll find the issue with your balance. As always, try and make your hips parallel to one another. Place the right leg onto the floor and then go into a right knee low lunge. If your heels come up, that's okay. Then rotate on your left leg. Keep your right leg in the air and go into half moon pose. Keep that leg nice and straight. If possible, you could then lift your left hand off of the floor using the obliques in your sides. Just try and maintain your balance. Come into pigeon. Make sure as you place your right foot over your left knee, that right foot is flexed. It's not soft or floppy, it's nice and taut. Lower your hips, still maintain your balance. If you're okay in just do the balance, that's fine. If you can then move into a twist, do so. So you place your right hand onto the floor and stretch your left hand up. Really twist into it, lower. Release, then come back. Keep that leg nice and long into warrior one. And step that right leg back. Then go back into a low right lunge with the left leg extended, and you're going to prepare for a wild thing. So bring your right leg close to your hips and then push off the toes of your right foot and raise and lift your hips up. Still get that bend. The aim is to try and get that right arm over, as in bend over, while the left hand is nice and supportive. Release. Then come back up. Into side plank. Get nice and stacked, and if you can, keep that arm up while you're in a three-legged kind of plank. Stay in the plank and hold. Nice deep breaths. Go forward, chaturanga. Move down, just hover above the floor, push back up into plank. Move forward, chaturanga, hover just above the floor, hold it for a few seconds. Then push back up. Move forward, and then chaturanga, go all the way down. You're going to do a Sphinx pose. So your feet will be straight back and you're just lifting up your front torso. Keep your hips on the floor and use your elbows to support you. Push back. Try and get your head to move back as well, so that it's a nice curvature. So make sure you push and keep your head as far back into you as possible. Straighten your arms for a more deeper Sphinx. This is now Cobra. Sorry, not a Sphinx. And lower down, release. Get your elbows beside you, your palm underneath you. Push off into chaturanga, plank, downward facing dog. Really try and open up those shoulder blades. So come into an L sit or L stand, and then lower your hips and squat down. Make sure you're on your heels, and then sit all the way down. Place your back onto the floor and go into happy baby. Try and keep your lower back on the floor and bring your knees into your armpits. Try and keep your shoulder blades on the floor as well. This is where you relax, guys. Totally let everything go. It was a strong session. Wasn't easy, but it was a good session where you developed more, became stronger, much more leaner. So be grateful. Move around a little bit. Any way you feel you could want to move around. If you want to place your feet behind you, stretch out your arms behind you, you can. If you want to stay in happy baby, do so. Just relax. Bring your knees into your chest. Massage yourself a little bit. And then relax totally into Vinasana. Let your feet flop, open your palms, and just take a few minutes and just chill here. So I recommend you stay here for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long you feel you want to be in this space, do so. Just take nice deep breaths and think good positive thoughts. So as for me, I'm going to leave you here. This has been an excellent yoga flow. I really enjoyed this one. So leave a comment down below. I've been the Martial Scholar. This has been my journey to black belt and beyond. And I shall see you next time. So safe travels on your journeys. Peace.